My name is Thomas Lane. I am the Computer Information Technology Program Head within the School of Computing, and I'm here to talk to you about BCIT's computing offerings in all of their variety. So, to begin with, BCIT is an applied institution, and as such, we are going to focus on having graduates be placed in the technology sector within BC. And fortunately for you folks, as potential students, this is a major growth area in the province. And in addition to what we would consider conventional technology landing points for our graduates, due to the ubiquity of computing, we're finding that our graduates are landing in a variety of sectors. So including interactive and digital media, so in conjunction with conventional game development houses here in BC. We place graduates in film as well. There's a IT component there. We're having graduates end up in life sciences, so bioinformatics in particular is a major growth area. We're placing graduates there. We see that we have our graduates are going into conventional IT and engineering services firms. This has traditionally been sort of the core area where we place folks. We've got an emerging clean technology and sustainable technology systems where we're placing students in the computing and information technology aspects of those areas. And then we have the sort of operational side of information and communication technology where we place students involved in growing fields. In particular, we see this move to off-premises cloud computing. Our graduates are facilitating that. IT systems management, e-commerce. So there's a variety of sectors that are employing the skill sets that our students have. For the most recent snapshot, we're seeing that there are over 10,000 technology companies in BC or that are leveraging technology. Within that, there are over 106,000 jobs, and this represents a growth rate of approximately 50% since 2001. This is across the sector. We're seeing approximately just under $1,700 weekly average earnings, which is significantly more than the BC average. There's about 87% of the BC average. These industries represent a grand total of $26 billion in annual revenue, and we're seeing continued growth that definitely beats the market. If I could make that on my investments, I'd be happy. 7.3% annual growth in this arena. So we're placing people into an environment that is conducive to them having work after they leave here. And this is fortunate because we're not really in charge of this, right? This just happens, we just happen to be in a very conducive environment to absorb the graduates that leave here. So we're placing our graduates in these obviously technology destinations, but in addition to that, due to this sort of the pervasiveness of technology, we place students in tech jobs outside of the tech industry. So we're placing people as IT analysts in banks, in insurance companies. There's very few enterprises that have any sort of commercial aspect that aren't web enabled. So we have people that manage and develop for those areas, and all of this sort of ubiquitous technology needs to be supported. So we have a number of support roles that emerge in the form of help desk and various tiers of support running on from there. So where do we fit in that as BCIT? We're the largest computing and IT education provider in Western Canada. We are a leader in addressing demand for technological talent. In particular, we have an applied focus. So we still teach fundamentals and the theoretical underpinnings of what we're doing, but all of our programs are well integrated with the destination in terms of their applied nature. So there's not a need for training, post-training that we find somewhere else. We've got 30 of these type of applied programs. The BCIT has a long and storied history in the domain, so our credentials are well recognized. And to back this up, we've got high graduate satisfaction and in particular employment rates. So when our students leave, they are work ready at every exit point from our programs. So there are sort of three delivery modes for our programs here at BCIT. We have full-time programs. So these are obviously full-time. They tend to be the programs you think of when you think of a natural progression out of a high school. So these are primarily populated with recent high school graduates and some return to education out of being in a work environment type folks. Part-time studies offerings that are they tend to be very up-to-date and very directed, as well as being more general, like our full-time programs. The CIT program, in particular, it deals with this breadth of IT in all its manifestations, including systems analysis, design, and administration. So this is keeping systems online running, keeping the lights on. It does focus, because of the pervasiveness of it, on developing for web-based systems. It incorporates modern development methodologies, so-called agile development. It's quite applied in its programming, and it's really meant to address the integration of systems in its programming. So we'll look at the computer systems technology program in a second, but CIT deals with helping businesses integrate their disparate systems and programming at that level. At one time, we would have called it commercial off-the-shelf integration. Now they might call it microservices, or allowing different existing systems to talk to each other. And it involves all the skills that are requisite for that. So we've got project planning and management, business communication. It incorporates industry practicum projects. And it's not on here, but there are what we would call work integrated learning. We'll get to this later on, in the form of co-op. And we have where co-op is a full-time intervention, where you go off and go to an enterprise for a semester or two. We also have an internship option, which allows us to replace a course. So it looks like a part-time job that you do at the same time as your coursework to get this sort of in-place applied learning. We have 2 intakes a year for this program, both in January and September, and it's housed entirely at the downtown campus. In fact, these are the primary facilities for the CIT program. Like in dealing with the breadth of IT, we can see the placements for our students. So they can go and be in these infrastructure roles where they're designing, configuring, and maintaining infrastructure, whether it be the systems, the network, or the security considerations. They are being placed in the web development and support roles within enterprises. So maybe not specifically web-specific enterprises, but for example, at ICBC or the Local Control Board, we have graduates that work there. We see them being in this support pillar. So like we mentioned before, we've got technical support, both client and service-facing. And then we have, in terms of this integrational role for business application software, managing data, integrating systems, and working as what we see as a conventional software developer. Our longest running program is Computer Systems Technology Diploma. This is a 2-year diploma, and it is heads down software development. We have a valid exit point. We place lots of developers after just 2 years, and this is in contrast to lots of other programs. There are an array of options within, so in your second year of this program, you can select sub-areas you'd like to focus on, including being a web or mobile application developer. We've got a DAMES option, there's a database option, and you can focus on processes and QA as well. So we've got a number of sub-areas that you can focus on to be highly specific and very applied, at the same time as having this core skill set to place you in the field. We deal with all modern languages and platforms. I'm not going to enumerate them, and in fact, we're adding to them all the time. We have an ongoing curricular update. It's cross-platform, so we're not tying anybody to any particular solutions. So it could be Windows, it could be Linux, it could be Mac OS. There is development opportunities in all of the environments. We're developing both conventional applications, and we're integrating ever more data analytics. So we're beginning to see accessing conventional databases. We're using Python to interface with conventional data analytics systems, including R, if anybody wants to know. And these folks are also doing mobile and web development is a substantial subset of these students. Our students participate in all aspects of the software development process. They do this through a series of projects as well that incorporate, so they actually get a stewardship of a particular project working with real industry folks that are coming here and they're going to develop against. They learn to work effectively in teams and to interact not only with their peers, but with industry clients. So you're learning teamwork not just internally, but to interface with external personnel. Like our previous program, this has intakes in September and January, so we have 2 intakes a year. We have, this program is interesting. Some of the options are offered in Burnaby and some of them are in the downtown campus, so we have the potential for students, 2/3 of them are still in Burnaby and 1/3 of them is here. This, I think, moving forward, and somebody's going to correct me if I'm wrong, is going to be closer to 50-50 moving forward. So for the next semester, this will be true, but there are ever more students coming down here as we develop the downtown campus. We mentioned this ability to specialize in your second year, and we have a whole host of specialization options, and these tend to be quite dynamic and are very responsive to industry demands. So we've recognized this obvious demand for probabilistic programming in the form of AI and machine learning options, so we've integrated those options. We have a predictive analytics option coming online. We're recognizing the need to deal with large data sets, and lots of businesses are looking to leverage the data they have to get meaningful information out. For computing folks, there's unlike the past where we had particular paradigms dominated, now we have, in addition to conventional object-oriented or procedural programming, we're beginning to see a proliferation of functional programming and data-oriented programming. If anybody's used the Unity engine to play games on their cell phone, we see these. And so we've incorporated these different views of computing in an option that allows students to explore them. We also have a very sort of long-running and broad range of other options, including client-server. We've got a cloud option, a database option. There's a data communications option. We've got a digital and image processing option, and one that students are quite excited about, an entrepreneurial option and web and mobile option. Like we said, both CIT and CST have this applied learning or work integrated learning feature. We've got a co-op program for 4 to 8 month job placements. It's for select qualified students. We want to make sure that these students are job ready when they enter. So there are some GPA and success criteria, but we found that these students are there are more jobs for these students than there are students at this point, and we're looking to increase the size of this. We also have integrated into the program itself a series of industry projects. So we can send students out to industry, and with the projects we bring industry back onto the campus. So they have they're integrated into both 5 and 14-week terms. So we've got a number of these projects that occur every semester, and all of our second year students or term 3 and 4 students are at some point in each term undertaking this major project where they're integrating their previous courses and applying them to a real-world problem brought to us by an external client. Our full stack web developer program, this is our brand new diploma. We recognized an industry demand for a highly directed program for being a software developer for the web. So it incorporates all of the general software development knowledge and skills that are in our other programs, but it's directed explicitly at front and back end web server development. It incorporates, like our other programs, this teamwork and project management aspects. It adds to this design, user interface and user experience practice and expertise, and a bunch of business skills so that we're able to have our graduates interact with the entities that will use these web services in the future. And we're integrating into this, there's a series of interdisciplinary projects run in conjunction with the School of Business to allow our students to actually get practice in having to deal with non-technical clients. We found that this has been a challenge, so we can find technical people and we can find good communicators, and we're looking to produce graduates that are the nexus of these two skill sets. This is a bit self-evident, but if you got here, you use the web. There is a proliferation of demand for this, and there are over 2,300 of these openings predicted in the next 10 years. So this was actually the driver for the program. We recognized the need, and this is the directed program that came out of it. I went a little bit ahead of the curve here, but one of the founding principles of the Full Stack Web Developer program is this interdisciplinary and interprofessional collaboration with the School of Business to produce not only successful technical projects, but the ones that meet an actual need. So, at the conclusion of all these programs, we have the ability to ladder into a number of advanced study options. And most importantly, we have ongoing reskilling and upskilling in the form of part-time studies. So our Bachelor of Technology in Computer Systems, full or part-time. It has a number of specializations. We have full-time specializations in games development and network security and administration. And then we offer this also at nighttime. We found that large numbers of our students were looking to augment either their previous work experience or their previous BCIT credential, but they didn't want to abandon their job. So we allow part-time specialization in a Bachelor of Technology focusing on database, human-computer interaction, network security administration. We've got a secure app development and a wireless and mobile development streams in our Bachelor of Technology. We have some new exciting alternate bachelor level study at BCIT, particularly forensics. So we've got a new forensics and cybersecurity program, new to me, it's not brand new. And so for all the CSI types, we have a place for you to go, and this you should ask about this, it's interesting. And we've got a technology management option as well, and we just came from, again, meeting with our industry advisory committee, where actually Microsoft and a number of other major institutions articulated the fact they didn't have a method for technology professionals in their career arc to progress to management. This was identified as a major shortcoming. And so we have developed a program that allows people to make that transition in the form of this technology management program. So our digital forensics and cybersecurity, focuses the slide is always interesting, on commercial and computer crime. Not committing them, but investigating them and preventing them. We're not training a cohort of hackers. And all you need to do is pay attention to the news and be thankful that our city has not been the victim of ransomware to appreciate, unlike Nunavut, and I think it was Austin, Texas this week. They're being held hostage by this. But these are, graduates of this would be responsible for computer and information systems security management, some sort of post-mortem. Often we have forensics investigators or examiners. We see this in terms of corporate security and enforcing internal policies and making sure white-collar crime prevention. Also in the form of cybersecurity analysis, forensic computer analysis, we need to look at data dumps of previous crimes, and generic sort of IT security consultants, network security manager, and the people responsible for keeping your online systems secure and up and running. Moving to part-time studies, and we have a massive array of programs, and it's the most extensive one in BC. Our programs are this, and I'll let, at some point you should talk to Kevin Cudahy. He is our wonderful part-time studies computing coordinator. He and his team have come up with a set of credentials and courses that are very, very responsive to market demand. So if you're looking at retraining and you can think of, I want to do Docker, I want to learn Docker to aid my development job, Kevin either is making a course or will have that course for you within a semester. There are a number of options here. The part-time studies options allow for both skills upgrade in career advancement or career shifts. And there's a qualitative difference. There's a difference in character of our part-time options versus like continuing studies at some other post-secondary institutions. These are rigorous academic programs as well. And there is a lot of coordination between our day school operations and our part-time studies. They're not a separate arm's length entity like a continuing education is, for example, at UBC. And then the last sort of interesting delivery model we have here is this technology professional programs, TPP. And then we have a suite of programs in the technology professional programs. And these are so-called executive or accelerated programs where we're recognizing that there's a significant opportunity cost for large sections of people. They can't just take 2 or 4 years away from work. They need to be in an accelerated program. They're reskilling or skilling up a significant number of skills, so more than a part-time program might offer them in a shorter period of time. But these are very directed and accelerated programs that you can get done within under 12 months in particular. And this is a series of fast-track programs. So these are all less than 12 months, generally between 9 and 12 months. And they're all offered here at the downtown campus. There is an office administrator with technology. So they're looking at conventional office admins and their interaction with modern systems and technology. In terms of, they have elements here of automating these roles. There's a system software developer, so this is a really focused development stream to get people reskilled and then working again quite quickly. There's a technical web designer, so focusing primarily on the design and interface aspects with skill set to interact with back-end development. And then there's a technology support professional, which again is a focused technology program to learn about the systems and support both the users and the systems themselves. The graduates from BCIT, we've got sort of 20,000 computer programmers and counting. We are an integral part of the BCI technology industry. We meet with them, like I literally met with them an hour before I got here. 85% of our graduates are getting jobs, and I think this is actually within 6 months. I need to look up that date, but our students are leaving and they are going to work. Our degree graduates find 100% employment, and by the way, these are also in related fields, so it's not like they're graduating here and going to work at Cactus Club, unless it's in the information systems element of Cactus Club. When our folks leave here, they have solid technical skills, and to differentiate from sort of other offerings, they're able to operationalize them. So they're actually able to exercise those skills in practice. And this is something that we pride ourselves on and we focus on. We don't want just people to learn about something. We want them to learn how to wield it and use it and be an asset to where they end up. And in order to achieve that, we've got a series of hands-on training that integrates practical industry experience, both at the industries themselves, or if we can't do that, we bring the industry partners on campus to work with. There is ongoing individual accountability and extensive teamwork. So we realize that to make anything sort of that doesn't suck or isn't trivial, you need to work with other people. And this is embedded across our curriculum. And we are always updating, adapting, and changing our curriculum. So I'm always leery of giving a presentation like this because like tomorrow, I'm going to get an update on a course that's going to change or improve one of those offerings for us. So how do you get in here now that you're all super excited to sign up? Our CST, CIT, and full stack web developer diplomas, so our 2-year diplomas, are all competitive entry. And the question everybody's going to ask me is, what grade do I need to get in? And the answer is, I don't really know. It depends on how many of your peers want to get in at the same time as you. That said, in order to accommodate the demand for our programs, we have undergone an expansion. So it is still competitive. We still are looking for quality students, but we are beginning to address there was an acute demand issue in the past. In terms of the competencies we're looking for, we need a minimum of 67% in English 12. We need one of the Math 12s, so including pre-calculus, principles of mathematics, or applications of mathematics. And pre-calculus, we need 67% as a minimum. Principles of mathematics, we need 67% as a minimum. And applications of mathematics, we're looking for 73% as a minimum. If there's anybody who's here really far in advance of their application, we are currently revisiting this in light of, I don't know if anybody's aware, but the province has updated the provincial curriculum, and we will have this reflect those courses shortly. To move on to our diploma program, you either need a CST diploma or the core of the CST diploma. We offer bridging. We offer bridging for people in our CIT and full stack web developer diploma. If you need more information, you can go to bcit.ca/computing and you will find our whole array of offerings. If you're looking to talk to somebody, and once you're ready to apply, you can go to bcit.ca and apply. So I'd like to thank you for sitting through that. I know it's not always the most exciting thing to have this thrown out at you. And immediately now you'll be able, the folks for each of these programs are going to be around. If I've tweaked your interest, you can go ask them the real questions that you came here to get answered. So I will see you soon.